What's up, everybody? Jonathan here with Descent Athletics, and today I'm going to talk about something that is very near and dear to me, meat. We're talking about animal products today, folks. There's a lot of weird pushback in the media these days, and so I, for a while, have known that I'm in different camps than the normal everyday person. I'm super into nutrition. I'll look at the way off-topic things, and the more that you're in looking at something, the further we get down kind of a rabbit hole, and we can get to more extreme people. And so started maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I thought that maybe I was too far down the rabbit hole, and I'm starting to see people talk about how there's this big push for plant-based and this big push for being vegetarian or vegan. I'm not here to make a hate campaign against that, but it has gotten to a certain level that is quite strange to me. If you want to be vegan or want to be vegetarian, there's probably some benefits to that. The logic behind it, though, a lot of the times completely blows my mind. So let's look at that. Where I want to start this is I'm going to go through a few things that get said about meat that have never actually been substantiated or proven true. One, there's never been a study that linked red meat to cancer. I would love to see it if you think that you have one. What most people talk about whenever we look at this is they've done studies where they take red meat and they consider that anything that has red meat. So McDonald's cheeseburger has red meat. They don't go in and differentiate between just the patty and the added bun and seed oils and all these different things. So there's never been anything that just looked at a piece of red meat linking to cancer. It's never been done. It has always been in or mixed with processed foods. So let's hang on to that processed food thing. If you've been in the nutrition game for very long, you probably also know that in the 1950s, 1960s, scientists were paid off to make claims against saturated fat and cholesterol. And so you see this switch in America in the 1950s and 60s from being a place that ate a bunch of bacon and eggs for breakfast, high protein, high saturated fat. We started moving to toast, breakfast cereals, items like that. Because what was said was saturated fat and cholesterol are leading to heart disease. It's actually come out, there's paper proof and everything. Scientists were paid off, Harvard scientists paid off to prove, to show that sugar was okay. You pull the strings long enough, you follow the money. Sugar companies were paying off scientists to say that saturated fat and cholesterol were bad. They wanted to prove that sugar wasn't bad. They were not able to do that, so instead of just saying that, they changed the whole question. Let's not even look at sugar anymore. Let's only look at cholesterol, saturated fat. We'll demonize those issues. Sugar comes out scot-free. Luckily, in the early 2000s that light came out, we're still fighting a battle to get ahead of this whole thing. So those are kind of the big things that get talked about. Cancer from red meat or the cholesterol and saturated fat that comes along with eating animal products. Past that, some things that I've been hearing lately with people coming in, they're like, hey, I've stopped eating red meat because it gives me a digestion issue. That may be true. I'm not here to argue or tell someone how their digestion works. What makes the most sense to me, if we look at the evolution of the human being, we've always eaten meat since the very beginning. So what has suddenly changed that we can't digest meat anymore? What would make sense to me is it's these other items that we're eating that's messing with our gut biome. And if our gut biome gets to a certain point and then we start trying to introduce meat, it may not work. That's an actual thing that could be going on. What would then lead to that digestion issue? In my mind, it's industrial seed oils. They're in everything. If you buy something that's in a package, it probably has canola or peanut or one of these vegetable seed oils. We want to try to just completely eliminate these things. They are a trash food product. There was, if you look at canola farmers and stuff like that, they wanted to be able to get a little bit more money. Can't blame the guys. Now, though, we see the data, we know that it's not good, we should really try to remove those. And so to me, if we have a digestion issue, it is not meat. Meat is not the issue, it's these other items that we are eating. And if we can start getting to a more natural, clean-based diet, I think we'll see a lot of these digestion issues start to go away. The next issue, and what gets commonly talked about, is factory farming. I don't know how many of you did, but I grew up on a farm. And I grew up around ranches. We have cattle. We have all these different things. Some stuff that may not be known about factory farming. All cows live on grass up until the last couple of weeks or month of their life. It is way too expensive to feed cattle grain and corn and all these other items. Like we want them to be grass fed. At the very end of their life, they go to the feedlot, they get fed all this stuff to get them a little bit more fat, and then we eat them. And so like that is the issue. Factory farming is an issue, but that's kind of what we see on that. If you have a problem with that, if you're like, oh, I don't like what the cows are being fed, what are you eating? Like, all you're doing is removing the cow from being able to digest that food for you. If we're already eating grains and corn and all this stuff that they're feeding the cows, like what is the difference? How is us feeding the cow affecting its meat if we're just eating the same food? So it's something to think about. There's also multiple other ways to source meat these days. If you live in Texas, you can go to eatwild.com and it'll show you not every, but anybody that's put their farm or ranch on there, you can find grass-fed beef, pasture-raised chickens, heritage pork, I think is what it's called. And you can get all of this meat without any of the like aspects of factory farming. So there are definitely really good ways to source meat. I don't think that cholesterol saturated fat is an issue. I do not think in any way that red meat leads to cancer. I do think that industrial seed oils are the issue. So the last thing on this, kind of tying it all together, if we don't eat meat and we're eating the Beyond Meat or the fake meat products, know that those are just like industrial sludge. Like it is just seed oils and all these weird ingredients being put together. There's no way that that is better than just like a natural piece of steak. So think on it. If you got any questions, let me know.